All right, now, let's sit down and have a heart-to-heart. You ever catch yourself asking, why do I keep choosing the same type of person? You know the one. They don't call back. They disappear when it gets serious. They make you feel like you're too much and not enough, and yet somehow you fall for them again. Let me tell you something real. It ain't just about who you date. It's about how you attach. See, your brain's been running on autopilot since childhood. This thing called your attachment style. And whether you realize it or not, it's been shaping your relationships for years. There are three major styles: secure, anxious, and avoidant. Each one speaks its own emotional language. Some of y'all love too fast because you fear being alone. Some of y'all run at the first sign of closeness. And some of y'all confuse peace with boredom, thinking if it ain't dramatic, it ain't real. But here's the truth. If you don't understand your own style or your partner's, then love turns into confusion. And confusion, that's the enemy of connection. So today, we're breaking it down. Real love talk, no sugarcoat. Because love ain't supposed to feel like chasing. Love is supposed to feel safe. Now let's talk about the one everybody should be aiming for, the secure attachment style. These folks, they ain't about games or drama. They love with peace, not pressure. They give you space without making you feel alone. They communicate honestly, calmly, and consistently. They're not perfect, but they don't run when things get hard. They show up, they talk it through, and they keep building. And most importantly, they don't love you because they need you. They love you because they choose you. That's grown folks' love. That's stability. That's peace walking through the door. And if you're not there yet, that's okay, because here's the good news. You can learn secure. You can unlearn fear. You can rewire your emotional habits. It starts by being honest with yourself, by learning what healthy love feels like, not chaotic, not confusing, but calm, clear, and committed. So don't settle for chasing love that runs. You deserve the kind that stays. All right, now let's talk about the one that loves hard. I mean, too hard sometimes, the anxious attachment style. These folks love with everything they got, no hesitation. But the problem is they're not loving from a place of peace, they're loving from fear. You take too long to respond to a text, their whole mood shifts. One little change in your tone and suddenly they're in their head overthinking everything. Did I say something wrong? Are they pulling away? They crave closeness, real closeness. But because they never really feel safe, they chase it. And let me tell you, chasing love, that wears you out. Not just you, but the person you're chasing too. Now, a lot of that comes from way back. Maybe growing up, love felt like a roller coaster. One moment it was warm, the next it was cold. So now they feel like they gotta earn love, like they gotta prove they're worth staying for. They become real sensitive to energy shifts, replay every conversation, try to read between lines that ain't even there. But listen, it's not because they're too much or too needy. It's because nobody ever showed them what consistent, safe love feels like. They're scared of being left, scared of not being enough. So they love loud, hoping that'll make them feel secure. But here's the truth, real love doesn't need to be chased. Anxious partners gotta learn to breathe, to slow it down, to remind themselves, if it's real, I don't have to beg for it. Because the right person won't confuse you, they'll calm you. And the right love won't trigger your fears, it'll help you heal them. Now let's talk about the one nobody ever thinks they are, but way too many people are walking around living it, the avoidant attachment style. Look, avoidant folks aren't bad people, don't get it twisted. They just learned early on that closeness comes at a price. Maybe growing up being emotional didn't feel safe. Maybe when they open up, they got shut down, ignored, or even punished. So now they protect themselves by keeping their distance. They hold on to independence so tight, it starts to feel like emotional distance. Try to talk feelings with them, they'll change the subject. Ask where the relationship's going, they'll say, why we gotta define everything? That's not mystery, that's self-protection. See, avoidant people, they live in their heads. They lock their heart away, not because they don't feel, but because feeling makes them vulnerable. And vulnerable ain't comfortable for them. So what do? They ghost, they pull away right when things start getting deep. Or worse, they stay in the relationship, but emotionally shut down. And the wild part, They often end up with anxious partners. One's always chasing, the other's always running. And that back and forth dance, it leaves both people drained and unsatisfied. But underneath all that avoidant behavior is someone who still wants love. They just don't trust it. They don't trust that it'll last or that it won't hurt. So here's the message to my avoidant folks. You don't have to isolate yourself to feel strong. You don't have to push people away to protect your peace. Real love isn't about losing your freedom. It's about having a safe place to land. And the truth is, the right person will honor your space and still love you with consistency. But for that to happen, you gotta let the walls down slowly, on your terms, but for real. Because love don't work when you're halfway in. And nobody wins if you're always prepared to walk away. I pitch a wake to hell. Now look, let's keep it all the way 100. Most people, they ain't just one thing. You might not be fully secure, fully anxious, or fully avoidant. Now, a lot of us are what the experts call mixed attachment. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, depending on who we're with and how we feel about ourselves. You might be confident in one relationship and anxious in the next. You might crave closeness but get real uncomfortable when someone actually gives it to you. That's mixed attachment, and it's real common. Why? Because we're all healing from something. Some of us are still dealing with old wounds from childhood, past heartbreaks, or relationships that made us question our worth. So what happens when two people with different styles try to communicate? One wants to talk everything out, the other shuts down. One person sends paragraphs, the other sends one-word replies. It's not just what they're saying, it's how they feel underneath it. And that's the heart of the issue. Attachment styles affect communication. See, anxious folks communicate from fear. Are you mad at me? Are we okay? Do you still love me? Avoidant folks communicate from control. Let's not get into all that. I just need space. And secure folks, they communicate with clarity. They say, here's how I feel, here's what I need, and I'm open to hearing you too. So if you're struggling to connect, don't just look at the words being said, look at the style behind it. Ask yourself, are you reacting or responding? Are you trying to connect or protect? Because when two people don't understand how the other attaches, they'll spend more time misunderstanding each other than actually building something. But the beautiful thing is this, attachment styles aren't destiny, they're just patterns. And guess what? Patterns can change. Through awareness, through patience, through honest, respectful communication. You can learn to love better, and you can teach someone how to love you too the right way if they're willing to learn. Because love isn't just about chemistry, it's about communication. And if y'all can talk through the hard stuff, you can grow through it together. All right now, let's bring this thing home. At the end of the day, your attachment style is just a reflection of how you've learned to protect your heart. But listen to me, protection ain't the same as connection. Whether you're anxious, avoidant, or somewhere in the middle, you're not broken, you just got used to surviving instead of thriving in love. And I get it. Some of y'all had to raise yourselves emotionally. Some of y'all love people who never loved you back. But you know what? That pain might explain your patterns, but it don't define your future. You can unlearn fear. You can heal insecurity. You can learn to speak, to listen, and to love with clarity, not confusion. But it takes work. Not just finding the right person, but becoming the right partner. Secure love, it ain't loud, it ain't flashy, it's consistent, it's kind, it's safe, and once you taste that, you'll stop settling for emotional chaos and start craving emotional peace. So here's your challenge. Get to know yourself. Be honest about your triggers. Own your patterns. And most of all, learn how to communicate from your truth, not your trauma. Because the real win in love ain't just finding somebody who wants you, it's finding somebody who understands you, chooses you, and grows with you every step of the way. If this message hit home for you, drop a heart in the comments and share this with someone still figuring out how to love and be loved right. Hit that subscribe button. We got more real talk coming every week.